Hello, and welcome to our virtual annual discipline meeting for the 2022-2023 school year. For those of you who may not know me, I'm Dane Lamont, the School Partnership Specialist for Penn Highlands Dual Enrollment Program. As we continue to adapt to a post-pandemic environment and adjust to new educational hurdles, we are pleased that we can provide you with an opportunity to complete our NACEP required activities in a platform where you can still make a connection to your liaison. Throughout the semester, ACE liaisons scheduled live Zoom sessions to discuss specific topics related to the disciplines in which you teach. While we understand that it is not always possible for you to attend these live sessions, these sessions were recorded so you can get the benefit of the event with the discussion from those who attended. Please enjoy the recording of your annual discipline-specific activity. We hope next school year we will be able to welcome you back to our campus for an in-person event. Thank you for your continued hard work in making this program available to students.
Okay, so first things first, I just want to run down through. I'm sorry, what was that?
No, my computer just told me the meeting was being recorded.
Okay, good. All right, awesome. That's great. I'm glad to hear it. So we're going to just run down through this discipline specific meeting agenda really quick, just so you have an idea of everything that we're going to cover. So we're going to just basically get to know me a little bit. You already know me, but I'll introduce myself anyway for those that are watching the recording. We'll talk a little bit about course content and delivery, such as course expectations, quick overview of our MyPeak ACE pages and the supporting materials found there, how to request course materials if you'd like them to supplement your course. And then we'll, of course, chat about common assessment, why we have it, how we gather it, how we store it, how we use it, and the expectations there. There are some course revisions that were made. Specifically, the ACE course that's impacted by those is ACC 150 Accounting Principles 1. There were some changes that were brought about by some changes to the Intuit Education program. So it sort of created a snowball effect. And then I had to roll with that as program coordinator for the accounting program. So I'm going to touch on those changes. And then I also just wanted to take a minute or two to talk about the guided pathways model. And this is something that Penn Highlands is very passionate about, and it's a way that we're headed to try to improve student success and, you know, graduation rates and career and transfer opportunities for students. And we're hopeful that in this process of guided pathways, we can use our ACE faculty to help us to share the pathways information with our students that are taking our classes so that they're aware of the opportunities here at the community college. And then, of course, any questions you have. But that's pretty much the rundown of what to expect there. So I have a little PowerPoint presentation here that I'm going to run down through that will kind of take us through this. So let me share that with you. Okay, so for our annual discipline meeting, and this is just for all accounting and business courses, so it's more generalized, although I must admit I'm the accounting professor and I am the program coordinator for accounting. So naturally, I tend to know more about my own wheelhouse, but trust and believe that if there's anything you need to know about a business course, you can certainly ask me and I can certainly find out if I don't know the answer for you. So I can reach out to those that know the answer and that can provide you with the support, and I can get that support for you. So for those that don't know me, my name is Melissa Boback, and I am the program coordinator for the accounting AAS degree program and the bookkeeping certificate. We also have a bookkeeping certificate program here at the college. For those of you that may not be aware, because I like you guys to share this with your students if you're willing to, we have both the accounting AAS program, but then we also have a bookkeeping certificate that is fully stackable into the accounting AAS program. So if a student isn't necessarily sure if they want to commit to a whole 2 years for a degree, or if they're a little shaky as to whether, you know, they want to go and write papers in English 110 or something like that, if they're just feeling like they only want to get exactly what they need to maybe just be able to go out and get a job in bookkeeping and if they want to do that, they could take the bookkeeping certificate and they could stop there. But what we find is many times, because it's fully stackable, those students will turn around and after they've done those 8 courses, they'll say, oh my goodness, you know, like this, I feel capable. I feel like I want to continue on for my next degree, for my accounting AAS degree. And when they do that, the beauty of it is they can really finish out that other degree in another year if we plan it right for them and they execute that plan correctly, because all of the courses that they took in the bookkeeping certificate are included in the accounting degree. So they literally don't lose any credits in that process. We have other degrees that are like that as well. We have other certificate programs out there as well. So I think if you were to look out on our regular website on pennhighlands.edu, if you go out there and check out our programs and look at the certificate programs, you'll see that we have other stackable certificates that go into our business programs and other programs as well. That's an area that we've really kind of been focusing on because we want to create kind of these pathways and these lead-ins for everybody to get what they need from the community college. I mean, that's our goal, right? To serve our community. So with that in mind, we want to be able to say to somebody, if you don't want to do a whole 2 years and you don't want to, you know, have to do a science and you don't want to have to do an English, but you do want to learn bookkeeping, here's your chance to learn bookkeeping so that you could go get a job in bookkeeping without necessarily getting the full associate's degree. And like I said, I do find that many, many times, most of the time, once they gain that confidence, they're ready to continue on for their associate's degree program. And of course, we love that. That's great. But it's not certainly required. The certificate does tend to lead to jobs. So that's always great as well. So for me, that's what I do here at the college. I'm the accounting guru, so to speak. But like I said, I am the ACE liaison for all the business courses and the accounting course. So feel free to reach out to me at any time with any questions that you have on any of your business courses that you're teaching. If you feel you need additional support, if you have questions in certain areas, or if you feel like you need additional instructional materials in a certain area, reach out and I'll see what I can do to help you. I left my email address on here. It is just Boback and it is Boback. I know sometimes there are people out there locally have last name Boback and it's just a K. So sometimes people accidentally send it to the wrong email address. Make sure you get that C in there. And text and call. You can text this as well. So that's kind of neat. We have Ring Central, which means you can text message me. And my students love this. I find they answer a text message way faster than they answer a phone call. So must be a generational thing. So my phone number is on here, 814-262-6471. The beauty of Ring Central is that they can text, they can call, and I love it because it puts an app on my cell phone and it rings through to my cell phone. So I can see I have a message or I have a message from work, but I don't actually have to physically be in the office at this point to get my messages. So that's a really, really nice feature of that particular system, which makes it great for our students as well. So like I said, contact me anytime you require assistance because I'm always happy to help. ACE course pages on MyPeak. When you log into my.pennhighlands.edu, which is our MyPeak page, which is kind of our main landing page for our students once they're enrolled at Penn Highlands, they come to MyPeak most of the time. This is where you would go. You would want to go in, log in, and then click on this ACE area up here. And then on the left side of the page, you would choose your discipline, which of course, in this case would be business. And then you would see a list of all of the business courses that are available in the ACE program here. So it starts off, it goes in alphabetical order. It goes with ACC 150, Accounting Principles 1, Intro to Business is on here, Management Principles, Personal Consumer Finance, Business Law, Principles of Marketing, Macro and Microeconomics. So you can see all of your options there. Click on those options, take you to that specific course page where you will find additional information on that course. The syllabus is definitely going to be on that page. So you will see a current syllabus from Penn Highlands, and then you will see additional information as well. Now, some of them have more information and some of them have less information, but they all have a syllabus. So make sure you check the syllabus because remember, as part of being an ACE instructor and having ACE students in your courses, you have to meet the same level of rigor and the same learning objectives that are on our syllabus. You can expand those and go further than those. So, you know, sometimes you guys have way more time than we do. So you can add additional topics and things nature, but you don't want to take away topics. You want to make sure that you're covering at the same level of depth and all of that good stuff. And again, if there's not a resource out there that you feel you need, please let me know, because I can definitely try to get it for you and add it for you. I know I've done that for several instructors in the past. I've added some things to introduction to business and different things like that they've asked for, and they found that very helpful. So if there's anything you think would help, just let me know. In terms of meeting our learning objectives, again, just want to make sure you refer to that syllabus and meet those. If you think you need materials to do this, you can always reach out to the ACE office, or you can go through me. That's fine too. And I will try to get you materials to help you support your class. When I say materials, what I mean is I realize that a lot of the schools are not using necessarily the same textbooks and things that we are using here at the college, and that's fine. We do not require that you use the exact same text or anything like that. But what we do require is that you meet those same learning objectives at that same level. So sometimes it's nice if you have a copy of our text and the materials that we use, so that you can then in turn make sure that you supplement your course if needed in different areas. So if you don't have a copy of our most recent materials for the class that you're teaching, you may want to consider requesting those so that you have those on hand. It's free. There's no charge for it. So again, just utilize the resources on the ACE course page to make sure you're meeting those learning objectives. And then we're going to talk here about our ACC 150 course revision and the guided pathways module as well. Common assessment. This is a topic that I always like to hit on. All of our courses, all of our ACE courses have a common assessment, which is basically one of three things. It's either an assignment, it's a project, or an exam that every student taking the course is going to complete. And the whole goal of that is for us to basically assess across the board, across all of our classes, both here at the college and in terms of our ACE programs, how our students are doing in terms of meeting those specific learning objectives. So now this is going to be different for every class, obviously. So most of the time you will get a request from the instructor that teaches that particular class, that is assessing that particular topic, and they will reach out to you and they will tell you what they need from you in terms of student samples or in terms of grades or in terms of metrics. So they will reach out to you and they will let you know. So keep an eye out for those types of emails and just supply them as quickly as you can for those instructors, because we do track that information. We previously used a system called TrackDat. We are now moving to a new system called Weave. Hopefully I like this new system. I think it looks pretty neat. I'm loving it so far, but I haven't delved very deep in it yet. So we will see how it goes. But it's always nice to be able to assess things across the board and see how all of our students are doing and strive to improve learning outcomes whenever possible. So from there, just to talk a little bit about this ACC 150 Accounting Principles 1 course revision for those that teach that particular course. Make sure you go out to the ACC 150 MyPeak page on the ACE tab of MyPeak and look at the syllabus. What you'll find there is that there's nothing terribly changed to this syllabus. What happened, just to explain a little and give a little bit of background, is we've had the QuickBooks Online project included in ACC 150 for a while now. This is great, except for the fact that now suddenly Intuit Education's program in the spring decided that they were continuing licenses for QuickBooks Desktop. Okay, now not for QuickBooks Online. They definitely want students to continue using QuickBooks Online, and it's still free and all of that good stuff. In fact, they've made that even more robust. But they have said, okay, we're going to quit giving out trial licenses of QuickBooks Desktop to students. They have not discontinued QuickBooks Desktop, in case you're wondering. They have streamlined it down to fewer offerings. And instead of allowing people to purchase a one-time license code and just keep it forever, they have moved it to a monthly subscription charge, even though it is a desktop product. They say they're not ever going to discontinue Quick Desktop. That's not their intention. If you ask me, I think that's the direction that they are headed. I think by going to the monthly subscription model, they're trying to get people used to the idea of having a monthly subscription. They are also giving continuous monthly updates to QuickBooks Desktop now, in that process. Doesn't it sound like online? Sounds like online to me. So I just really think they're kind of trying to baby step their desktop customers into feeling comfortable with an online product, but it's probably going to be a while before they actually go there. But they're trying to basically not entice people to want to do desktop. So they're going to discontinue those licenses, or I shouldn't say going to, they did discontinue those licenses in spring. So the last time I was able to teach my automated accounting students, which is ACC 220, QuickBooks Desktop, was spring. Frankly, I was a little disappointed because I love the fact that my students got to learn both QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks Desktop, because even though they have similar capabilities, they have a very different kind of feel to them. And so it was nice for them to see both offerings, because we do have a lot of people locally that still use the desktop product. But it is true that QuickBooks Online is the fastest growing product offering of Intuit. It's definitely booming, so to speak, in terms of its growth. So I had no choice really but to take my ACC 220 automated accounting class here at the college from QuickBooks Desktop instruction to QuickBooks Online instruction. That's the only way we could move with that particular class, to keep a reasonable fee for the students and all of that stuff free for the online product itself, and then just needing the learning materials. So what that meant is we didn't want to have it doubled, right? So ACC 150, as kind of a snowball chain effect, we decided to keep the instruction in it for QuickBooks Online, but to take the big project out, which I think is probably a relief to some people, especially at the high school level. So we take the big project out and instead treat it more like an overview, get your feet wet, get in here and see what QuickBooks can do. Still kind of talking about the same things that are in that project. So still, showing a student how you go through and set up a new company file, and showing them how to update their chart of accounts and change their company settings and record, sales transactions. What's the difference between an invoice and a sales receipt, or record an expense versus entering a bill or writing a check, bank reconciliations, payroll, whatever you want to throw in there. But the big pieces that we've talked about in the past. But the beauty of that is Intuit Education provides free resources for all of those things. So there's videos, and there's samples, and there's projects out there, and there's a sample company file. And as far as I'm concerned, teachers in Accounting 1 at this point for ACE faculty, much like myself, are free to pick and choose. The goal is just to give the students a good overview of QuickBooks Online. And how you choose to assess that, I'm going to let it up to you. I know for me, I'm probably just going to do little mini projects that require them to do certain things in the sample company file and take screenshots of it, or maybe just little quizzes along the way to assess what we talked about in class that particular day, those types of things. So nothing, big, nothing major in ACC 150, but still giving those students a chance to see QuickBooks Online, because, not all students are accounting majors that take Accounting 1. We get business management majors and business administration people take that class, and liberal arts and sciences people take that class. And so we want those people to get that exposure to QuickBooks Online, because they may not, ever take ACC 220, and they wouldn't get a chance to see it at all if that were not the case. So we still want it in there. We just don't have it nearly as robust. But by taking that down and making it less robust, that left room in the class, so to speak, for us to shift some of the content that we used to cover in Accounting 2 into Accounting 1 to make that class more robust, which is a positive, because the hope is that that's going to increase transferability to other colleges. So what we did is we pulled in merchandising businesses and inventory, accounting for inventory, into Accounting Principles 1. Whereas before, it was just the full accounting cycle for a service business organized as a sole proprietorship. Now there's also the full accounting cycle for a merchandising business organized as a sole proprietorship. So for a retailer, and then of course, accounting for inventory as well. So that would be your periodic and your perpetual inventory systems, and the cost flow assumptions that are used in there: first in, first out, FIFO, last in, first out, LIFO, and average cost. So those things are going to be in Accounting 1 now. So you'll see those added to the syllabus. If you didn't previously, I think most people at the high school level have done those things, but if you haven't done any aspect of that and you need additional supplementary materials for it, just know that you can request our copy of the book and pull it from, say, chapter 5 or chapter 6. But I will be adding resources over fall break and Thanksgiving break, which is next week, to the My Peak page for those chapters. So I'll be putting up my notes handouts for those and some other things that I had the students with, putting up sample tests, sample projects, things like that. So things will be there too, kind of as a resource for you if you need to supplement your materials to make sure that they're on the same level. So that will be there. And again, if you need an updated textbook, you can always let me know. It also, of course, changed our Account 2 class because we shifted those things out of there. So we were able to add accounting for partnerships and financial statement analysis to Accounting 2 as well, which made that class more robust and hopefully more transferable. So I think overall it was a positive change, but Intuit sort of gave us the little shove in that direction by discontinuing those desktop licenses. So any questions on anything there? So far, so good. Okay. So also wanted to chat just a little bit about this whole idea of guided pathways. I mentioned that in our agenda. Basically, the college is working to implement what we call a guided pathways model. And this is a model that has been kind of examined here for a few years now. And we're on our way with it. We've done a lot of positive things in the right direction here. We participated in a super intensive workshop over the summer to learn more about this and to try to get this implemented. So we have a team that's working on this. Basically, when we were examining student success rates of community colleges, this is shown, this particular model, to improve student success and outcomes, which is why, of course, we want to implement it. The whole idea is to a student come in and select a path. So all our things are going, all majors, so to speak, are going to be organized as pathways, essentially. And so some colleges call them majors, some colleges call them pathways, you know, they call different things. So you might hear them called clusters or something like that. But for us, we're kind of using the term pathways at the moment. But they come in and they identify a pathway. And that's their program, their chosen path of interest. And our goal is to basically help them to enter that path, stay on that path, and make sure that they're learning along the way and completing their and executing their plan so that they can get either a well-paying job when they graduate or so that they can go program to program transfer and continue on for their bachelor's degree, depending on whatever their goal is. So we try to support them either way. This is something that we're going to do using something called the ACIP model, ACIP, and it stands for ASK, which is us inquiring about the student's interest. So, you know, so many times you have a student come in and they just kind of say, you just say, well, you know, what do you want to do? What's your major? And they just tell you, but you didn't really previously necessarily have a big conversation about what their career goals were, or, you know, what was their super interest in it. Why did they think they wanted to take that major? You know, we didn't necessarily dive all that deep with students in the past, but we want to. So the goal is to ask these students, ask them about their interests. Why do you think you want to be in that major? Have them take like the career coach assessment to see, does that result line up with that major? It's not that you're going to deny anybody the right to take whatever major they want, but at least let them make an informed decision about that particular major and make sure that it's truly going to meet their goals. And then once they've had their kind of major chosen and their pathway chosen, our goal is to turn around and do the C part, which is the connect aspect. And we want to get the students in touch with a faculty expert in that area of interest, or get them exposed to some type of business or industry in that area of interest right away. So we don't want to wait for that contact to happen. We kind of get them in contact with somebody in their area as quickly as possible so that that person can provide them with insight, answer questions, dive deeper into their goals, that type of thing. And then, of course, the I in the ACIP model is inspire. So we are really big on having every student in their pathway take what we would consider to be like a Light My Fire course in their first semester with us. So we would want them to take a class that's in their major that hopefully is going to make them say, wow, yeah, I'm really interested in this, and I really like this, and I really like my major, and it just sort of lights their fire to keep going. Too many times, I think when somebody goes to a college, you'll see them get their gen eds out of the way, and it's like they're trudging through these things that they don't find all that interesting. And I think that can be discouraging to students. So our goal is get them in something that they're really interested in and grab their attention and try to hold it. And that will help them to hopefully want to stay on path and want to succeed in their programs. And then of course the P is plan. Every student, our goal is to have every student have an individualized plan for successful completion. So we want to work with them when they come in, when we're in that ask part, and ask them the questions, do you want time? Do you want time? When do you see yourself completing this degree? What modalities do you think are going to best support you in this process? Do you want to be fully online? Do you want to have a mixture of classes that are online and in person and Zoom classes? Or do you want everything you do to be in person? And try to make sure that, whatever pathway they're choosing is going to meet with that particular need. So we want to make sure that they're making well-informed decisions in that process. So the goal is to have this individualized plan. And that's the pillars of the pathways that we're talking about there. And we are making strides toward it. So I'm going to brag just for a little bit here about some of the things that we've done so far. Clarifying paths to the student and goals. We have all of our programs and majors organized by broader career-focused academic pathways. So if you go out on pennhighlands.edu and you look at our programs, you will notice that they are organized under those pathways. We ask all of our students to complete the career coach assessment before they come to orientation, because that helps them establish and explore their career goals. We also want to help students get on their path. So we want to give them career and transfer information on our website for every program and major and try to highlight that for everybody. So when you go out to our website and you look at our programs and you look at the majors that you have available to you, you can see the types of careers that you could have, and you can see our transfer and articulation agreements for where you could go for your next steps. And we have begun implementing that ACIP model that we're talking about into our onboarding experience for students. We continue to make improvements to it, but I think we're headed in the right direction there. And new this fall, this was a great thing. Students attended an orientation. Of course, we always had orientation, but this time we focused it on major exploration, connection, and inspiration. And it was a super big hit, in my opinion. We had a lot of great experiences. We had a lot of positive feedback on it. Essentially what we did as faculty is we came up with little 15-minute Light My Fire activities for each subject. And then we asked our students, we were assigned classrooms, and we asked our students to first go to a class related to their major, and then go to a class specifically in their major, and then go to a class related to their major, and then go to just a random class that interested them. So they had 3 little 15-minute activity Light My Fire sessions. And, they found out in some cases, and it works both ways, they found out sometimes, this is great. I love this. I love this. I'm in the exact right place. I'm so interested. And of course, that's a thumbs up, right? But there's other times they walk in and they think they're going to love that subject, and they get in there and they do that little activity and they go, oh my goodness, I have picked the wrong major. And if that happens, that's okay, because that's the point. We don't want somebody to stay in a major that doesn't light their fire and that doesn't support their goals. So we would want somebody to know sooner rather than later if it's not the right major for them, so that they change majors. And we did have a few people change majors in that process. And then we had some students, that came in and said, oh, this isn't for me, or this is great, I can't wait. In fact, I actually had this was exciting me. I had a parent of one of the kids in my class. They actually signed up for accounting online to take their accounting degree because of the Light My Fire activity. So I thought that was really cool. I was like, wow, that was really neat. I was excited about that. So it really was good. It really did set the stage for inspiring people and lighting their fire for their course, or at least letting them know in some cases that was not the area for them. So it was a good experience. I think we're going to follow that model going forward because we got so much positive feedback on it. I'll have students complete an academic advising survey that asks about their goals, their aspirations, and their interests, so that, you know, anybody that's advising them can help them along the way. Each student has access to their individualized program plan, and we can revise that based on their needs and goals. And most recently, we provide registration to that plan. So students are actually able, when they register, to see their plan and what they should be taking, and then register for those courses. So that makes registration fairly seamless, and they know that they're getting what they need to stay on their plan. Of course, it's up to them and their advisor to tweak that plan. So as an advisor, when I meet with my students, one of the things that I do is go through and I tweak that plan accordingly. And of course, then they're able to see it when they go to register. So it really does help to keep the students on path. And I think that's a very, very big step in a positive direction. We also want to make sure that students are learning along their path, of course, and learning the whole time. So we have general education courses that have been designed specifically for majors. For example, Mat 110 is business math. So naturally, business students gravitate toward business math. And then we have other math courses and other English courses that are designed, you know, to support different types of programs. And we do have all of our course schedules when we create them. They're developed based upon those program maps to make sure that the students can get the classes that they need to graduate. So we tried very hard to make sure that students are able to get the classes that they need. So we are definitely on our way here. We're not completely there. We definitely have some things that we would like to pull off yet where this is concerned. So it's definitely not a means to an end. It's an ever evolving process that we're going through. Some of the things that we like to work toward, we want to make sure that all of our academic pathway structures kind of make sense from a student perspective, from a faculty perspective, and from a staff perspective, because we want it to be very holistic. We want everybody involved in it. And then we want to engage our alumni and business and industry partners with these academic pathways so that we can help support career development for all of our students. We essentially want to lead in that direction. We want to make sure we engage and connect our dual enrollment students with our academic pathways, our ACE students with our academic pathways. So that's why we would like to share that with you, so that you are aware of all of this that's happening and all of these positive things that are happening at the college. And you can tell people to give Penn Highlands a look. It will save them a lot of money, and they can continue on and transfer on for a bachelor's degree somewhere else if they desire. And they can see all those opportunities on our website. And of course, we want our advisors to always connect with our advisees, discuss their goals, their interests, their aspirations, and plan that individualized plan for them. We have a program called J1 Web that allows us to go in there and select those things. We are in the process of redesigning our first year experience class. Right now, we call it academic and career planning, but we are overhauling that. We want to reimagine that class to kind of light students' fire and meet their needs so that they are better equipped to come in and successfully complete their program. We want to also go in and identify some key milestones within our majors and our pathways that basically predict future success, so that we can say, oh, look, you've hit this point. We think you're on the right track, you know, something along those lines. Want to make sure every major leads to either a well-paying job or a program-to-program transfer opportunity. Again, we're in a great position there, but we still want to continue to grow those program-to-program transfers and ensure that everybody is able to continue to get a well-established career. We want to leverage those academic plans to make sure all of those students can get the courses they need to graduate. And probably most importantly, we want to make sure that we get experiential learning in all of our classes, active and experiential learning, because students, you know, lecture is great to a certain extent, but doing something and actually seeing it done and that you are capable of doing it is so much. And of course, as an accounting instructor, I can attest to that, right? That the students, I can't just stand up there and explain journalizing and posting and trial balance preparation. They actually have to do the journalizing and the posting and the trial balance preparation, because someone can understand it in theory, but to turn around and actually do it is a whole different thing. So we definitely have a lot of practice and a lot of graded assignments in terms of actual hands-on experiential learning. And in the case of accounting, my accounting AAS students in their last semester typically They take a class called ACC 225, which is accounting simulations, and it is entirely project based. So that is the whole class. They actually have, like packets, and they are working their way through the source documents like they are a true accountant in an office, and they are doing the whole shebang, so to speak, and they are working their way through. And I find that that is the greatest way for them to bring everything together that they've learned in their previous classes. So we are very big on experiential learning and active learning, and we are trying to incorporate that everywhere so that we can inspire and light these students' fire and get them on the right path. So essentially, that is guided pathways, and that's where we're headed. So any questions on anything we went over?
No, I don't have any questions. I'm excited to see what you're doing with the pathways. It sounds like a great opportunity for the students.
Great. I'm so glad to hear it. And like I said, we'd love it if you'd share the pathways with them and like take a minute to show them our website and where they can find that information. It's a really, really, nice thing for them to see exactly how far they could go starting at a community college. I think sometimes, people think, oh, well, community college, I want to go to a big university, or I want to go to a big college or something like that. And in reality, I mean, they can save thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars by starting up at a community college, and they end up at the same place with the same degree from that big institution maybe that they wanted to go to. It's just that they got their start here. So it's sometimes it's really good. And like I tell people when they come to us, they are not just a number. We tend to get to know our students, and we tend to want to see them succeed, want to talk to them, and we want to get to know them, and we want to get them on the right path. And it's so nice when you see a student that you've had that has graduated and gone on and done something great. For example, I just had a student recently that graduated from the accounting program a few years ago. She went on to St. Vincent, and she got an internship. She's always wanted to do this. So it was her goal all along from the very beginning, and she landed an internship at the FBI. So she was able to go to the FBI and do an accounting internship for them, and she was just thrilled, and she did great. She knocked it out of the park. So that was a really milestone to see reach something like, and she got her start here at the community college, So yes, it's very rewarding to see people make those leaps and bounds into their careers and meet their goals. And so that's just one example, but I do see a lot of my students going on and getting good jobs and things of that nature. And it's always so nice when they reach out to me and they tell me, I'm doing what I want to do, and I'm doing well at it. And like, it's very rewarding when I get a call for a reference and the person says to me when I'm giving one of my students a reference, well, they were the first person we interviewed and we stopped interviewing because they were so good. I'm always like, yes, that's my goal. So that's always nice to hear as well. But it is great. I think the guided pathways model is a great thing for our students. I think the Light My Fire courses, the career focused, major focused orientation is a big thing. I think we have so many things going in a positive direction. I'm really excited to see where it goes from there. So if you need anything, you know where to find me.
I do.
Always reach out, and stay warm from this crazy winter weather that we're having. All right, I will let you go. Have a great night.
Thank you.
See ya.
You too.
See
Bye.
ya.